Silence is the first weapon. Before a sword is drawn, before a step is taken, the warrior must face his reflection and not look away. Discipline begins here, not in battle, but in stillness. The world outside is a storm that never ends, yet the mind of the samurai is the mountain it cannot move. Musashi taught in the Earth Scroll, "The way is in training." The path is not found in comfort, but in repetition. In every cut, every breath, every dawn you rise to meet again. To walk the way is to burn away all that is false until only truth remains. When everything is stripped away, what remains that you can command? Every law that follows is carved in the flesh of generations, 7 blades that shape the warrior's mind. They do not change with time. They are not words to study but trials to endure. Remember always, silence is the first weapon. Discipline is the second. Integrity is not morality shaped by others. It is alignment between thought, word, and action. Integrity is the sword of truth, straight, cold, unbending. To live with integrity is to act without hesitation when the path is clear. To delay is to betray yourself. Tsunetomo reminds us in the Hagakure, "The way of the warrior is found in death." He did not praise dying, he praised readiness. To live rightly is to have already died to hesitation. When a man has integrity, he does not ask, "What will they think?" He asks only, "Is this right?" Truth is the steel that does not rust in the rain of opinion. Integrity is what remains when applause fades, when only silence watches. The warrior chooses difficulty over comfort. Ease corrodes the edge. Every day the blade dulls in the scabbard of comfort. So draw it, even when your hands shake. A single act of truth cuts deeper than 1,000 excuses. When the world demands compromise, can you still say, "I did not bend"? True rectitude is solitude. Right action is not guided by outcome, only by truth. Even if the world burns for it, the warrior will not lie to himself. Silence is the first weapon. Truth is the edge. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is mastery over it. To be fearless is to be reckless. To act without wisdom is to die without meaning. To feel fear and advance anyway. That is courage. The warrior lives on the edge of death, not to chase it, but to be free from it. He bows to mortality and moves on. Musashi taught in the Fire Scroll, "The way to win in battle is to know the rhythms of particular opponents and use beats that your opponents do not expect." Courage is rhythm, the steadiness of spirit when chaos dances around you. Fear feeds on the future, courage lives in the present. Act now, and fear loses its throne. Courage is the breath before the strike, the calm in the storm. It does not announce itself, it simply is. When your time comes and fear whispers, will you meet it with silence or surrender? Courage is not heroism, it is obedience, to purpose, to code, to truth. To live without courage is to die many small deaths. One act of pure courage can echo across eternity. Silence is the first weapon. Discipline is the flame. Compassion is the strength to protect rather than to dominate. Power without compassion is corruption. Strength without compassion is savagery. The warrior understood. Mastery of the sword must lead to mastery of the self. To wound without purpose is to disgrace the blade. To act with mercy, even when vengeance burns, is to wield true strength. Nitobe reminds us in Bushido, "Polish your spirit by courteous behavior." Compassion is refinement, strength held in restraint. The heart must be fierce as fire yet gentle as rain. When strength forgets mercy, it becomes arrogance. To kill needlessly is to betray the spirit of the way. The duty of the warrior is not conquest, but protection. Even wrapped in armor, he carries a human soul. Compassion is the quiet hand that steadies the trembling world. When vengeance feels righteous, can you still remember mercy? To have a soft heart in a hard world, that is true power. Silence is the first weapon. Mercy is the hidden blade. Respect is the armor of the spirit. It shields the heart from arrogance, as steel shields the flesh from the sword. Respect is grace in motion, humility in strength. The warrior bows not from weakness, but from control. Only the disciplined can humble themselves without losing dignity. Respect is restraint, knowing when to strike and when to stay still. Without restraint, strength becomes chaos. The old masters remind us, sincerity is the beginning and end of all things. Without it, nothing can exist. Courtesy without sincerity is emptiness. Sincerity without courtesy is arrogance. Together they form the posture of the warrior, still, balanced, alert. In battle, respect guides the sword. In peace, it guards the tongue. A warrior who loses composure loses command of himself. If you lose composure, what else will you lose with it? When the bow is deep, the spirit is high. When the tone is soft, the will is sharp. Silence is the first weapon. Respect is its echo. Sincerity is the unity of thought and deed, word and action as one motion. A warrior's word is his life. Once spoken, it cannot be recalled. Musashi teaches through the Earth Scroll. From one thing, know 10,000 things. Truth in one act carries through all others. Sincerity begins with the smallest promise kept. Even unseen honesty shapes unseen strength. Without sincerity, honor becomes vanity, and loyalty becomes blindness. To live without truth is to drift without direction. Sincerity is not loud, it is still, deliberate, and whole. It does not perform, it fulfills. The warrior sharpens his sword daily, but his words more carefully. A lie dulls the edge of the spirit. Truth, once spoken, cuts through illusion like clean steel through fog. When no one would know the lie but you, will you still choose truth? When the crowd turns away, will you remain clean in silence? Sincerity is the only sword that cuts both ignorance and fear. Silence is the first weapon. Truth is the light. Honor is not the praise of men. It is the quiet agreement between the soul and its reflection. Honor is the unseen law that watches when no one else does. It cannot be taken by others, only surrendered by choice. Daidoji Yuzan teaches in the Code of the Samurai, to live without honor is to die in shame. The body may survive dishonor, but the spirit does not. Honor is the invisible flame that lights the path through darkness. It burns not for recognition, but for remembrance. When temptation whispers, honor is the voice that answers, no. The warrior does not wear honor like a badge, he breathes it as air. When truth costs him comfort, he pays. When silence costs him safety, he remains still. When no reward remains, will you still live with honor? Better to die with honor than live without it, not because death is noble, but because dishonor is death of the soul. When all fades, fame, strength, wealth, only honor remains as your shadow on eternity. Silence is the first weapon. Honor is its mirror. Loyalty is the final test of the spirit, devotion to what is greater than the self. It is not obedience to men, but allegiance to truth, to purpose, to the unseen law that governs the way. Without loyalty, the warrior's strength fractures. Bushido reminds us, without loyalty, there is no warrior. To stand for something eternal is to stand beyond fear. To remain steadfast when others fall, to hold the line when alone, that is loyalty. The wind may bend the bamboo, but its roots hold firm. Loyalty does not ask for applause. It does not trade conviction for comfort. It endures quietly, as stone endures the rain. What will you remain loyal to when everything else falls away? Only the loyal can walk alone. Only the faithful can pass through fire unburned. Silence is the first weapon. Loyalty is the vow that endures. The path returns to silence. The 7 laws are not commandments, but mirrors, facets of the same blade. Integrity, courage, compassion, respect, sincerity, honor, loyalty. The warrior seeks not perfection, but presence. He does not chase peace, he becomes it. Bushido is not ancient, it is eternal. It lives in unseen choices, in patience under pressure, in truth spoken without witness. There will be days when your hands tremble and doubt blinds the path. Remember, the warriors before you walked under the same storms, guided only by their inner flame. Though their armor has turned to dust, their discipline remains. So rise, not for glory, not for praise, but because the path demands it, because the mountain still stands, because within the silence, the warrior whispers, "Do what is right, endure what is hard, remain unmoved. The storm will pass, the mountain will remain, and you, forged in silence, tempered by the 7 laws, will endure."